Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for another episode of Homegrown. I'm Stephen Holland of Property Champions Real Estate. I'm joined today by Mr. Chris Richardson. He's an attorney at law here in Dothan, Alabama, and he is running for circuit judge. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit of your background.
So I'm Chris Richardson. I am born and raised right here in Dothan. Grew up here through public schools, went to Northview, played sports, went to church at First Presbyterian, and then moved back here after a stint, of course, college, law school, the Army, but moved back here in late 2010, and I'm married to Leanne Richardson, formerly Leanne Massey. We have two sons, Charlie and William. Continue to go to First Presbyterian. I coach the boys in pretty much every sport that they open up for them and stay real active in the community.
What led you to that career path?
Yeah, since growing up, I've always had a real interest in history. I've always watched the news, military affairs, government. When I got a little bit older in life and decided what I wanted to do, it seemed like all those people that I had watched for those years were lawyers or had something to do with the law, and so it kind of came natural for me. Once I've gotten into the law and practicing, I've really enjoyed it.
Tell us a little bit about circuit judge, maybe what the circuit judge is, and a little bit more about the election.
So legal jargon, a circuit court judge, it oversees cases of general jurisdiction, which really just means about anything. They would handle anything from divorces to any kind of felony criminal case, any kind of probate case that's removed from probate court over, so just about anything.
What type of law have you practiced and what challenges have you faced and how that helps you?
So I started as a prosecutor, really through law school and a little bit afterwards. Really on my first day, the senior attorney handed me the docket and said, "District court is now yours." And so it was trial by fire, and I learned a lot that way. I don't know if it's the best way to train somebody, but I survived. So I did that a while, and then I got the opportunity to move back home, which is Dothan, which I love. And I worked at the firm of Espy Metcalf and Espy. We did a lot of things, a lot of civil litigation, a lot of complex bankruptcy matters. I did a lot of Social Security, did a little bit of the criminal defense, but not a whole lot during those few years. Did a lot more on the civil side, some divorces. And then in 2017, I came over to the firm where I am now, Bowles Holmes White, and worked with John Steensland, who's now a circuit court judge. I took over his practice, and he had a really wide range of things, criminal defense, which I now have a contract for indigent defense with Judge Benford. So those who can't afford a lawyer, I'll be appointed to their cases. I do a lot of estate planning, probate, still do some bankruptcy work, so a little bit of everything.
What are the primary roles and responsibilities, duties for a circuit judge?
Perhaps, now I tell people this, maybe I don't mean to be funny, but a lot of times the best thing a circuit court judge can do is get out of the way. I've had cases really all over the Southeast, Alabama in particular, where the judge wants to do nothing but explain and show how smart they are, constantly interjecting and really interrupting the flow of a case. So a lot of times if the circuit court judge, or any judge for that matter, would just sort of step back, let the lawyers make their arguments, and then if they need to make decisions or have to make decisions, then you make it. When you're elected to those positions, you have a lot of opportunity to really work harder and get more cases seen and disposed of. With coronavirus, cases kind of got backlogged, and so the next circuit court judge is going to need to get in there and really work hard, get cases set, and hopefully get them disposed of and get caught up.
Understood. And what do you think makes you the best candidate for the circuit judge?
Well, I think what makes me the best and really sets me apart is being well-rounded in all the law. What I mean by that is I'm uniquely qualified, I believe, having prosecuted and defended a criminal case. I've worked both sides of lots of different types of civil matters. I'm the only candidate who can say that. It's great to do one thing and do it well, but a circuit court judge really needs to be able to step back, see cases from both sides, and since I've done that, I think that's what makes me the ideal candidate for this position.
You've practiced law independently and you've been a prosecutor. How do you think somebody who's only done one side, how does that benefit you that you do know both angles?
Yeah, I think it benefits me in just how you have prepared for those type of cases. So I think, as a circuit judge, being able to see not just one side and maybe even being a little biased toward one side or the other, not intentionally, but just if that's all that there's a possibility of that. So I think that's really what I could bring to the bench of really weighing both sides fairly, because I've sat next to those type of clients on both sides.
And making those decisions, making those judgments, is a judge beholden to the past precedents and rulings that have come before him, or is he able to take a look at a situation and say, no, from what I'm reading and how I interpret the law, this is how I'm going to apply it?
If something is just spot on, this is the exact situation that has occurred before, I think you're generally bound to have to follow what a higher court has said. But there are certain times when something is maybe a little bit different, or a little bit gray, and that's really where hopefully the wise judge would come in and see, well, this is maybe not exactly on point what the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court has said, and that's where hopefully the learned and wise and hard-working judge can come in and make that decision.
You think that balanced experience allows you to be a little bit more fair, so when that judge discretion is there?
Absolutely. I think that's really vitally important, to be able to see things from both sides, but also see how things work up on the appeal level too. Where the pulse of those courts are, things like that. And
do you personally or professionally feel that the judicial system is in need of any reform, and why or why not?
Yes, I think anybody that's probably turned on the news or read a newspaper in the last few years has seen that there's definitely some significant challenges right now. I mean, the prisons are ballooning. Criminal justice reform is major right now, and certainly needs some reforming. I've seen in both sides of prosecuting and defending, you'll have a defendant come in, and maybe it's a low-level drug offense or something, but they get in the cycle, and there's payments. That, and a lot of times they'll pull their driver's license. Well, now you're asking someone to pay more money than they probably ever had on a payment plan without a driver's license. It just puts people in these perpetual cycles.
Spiral.
It does. And in civil cases, the law, the way things are working, seems to be going well. There's certainly some room for improvement, but I think a lot of times getting clients and cases disposed of is vitally important. And access to justice is something else I think we need to work out on the state level. If you have a small matter against someone, just take a landlord-tenant or any kind of small dispute, a couple $1,000s, which for a lot of people is not a big deal, but for some people it's a huge deal.
Right.
In order to get to the court and have their day in court, it may cost them $300-400, and if they have to hire an attorney, you may be talking thousands of dollars. It's just not worth it to them. So those are some of the issues I think we certainly need to look at from the state.
Now, you've already mentioned how much you've been involved in the community in the past. How can you tell folks that, if not elected, how do you want to continue to be involved in the community?
So I guess for the last 20 years, probably my most favorite thing has been serving in the Alabama Army National Guard. That's really given me a sense of community and purpose and service. And then locally around here, between me and my wife, we're on multiple boards, but I work with Westgate, the Dothan National Baseball League. I'm a deacon at church. And if elected, I'm hoping to use that position as judge to go out in the community and do even more so. And I think you show up as Chris, that's great. You show up as Chris the judge and do several things. It just gives you a little bit more legitimacy, I think. Can hopefully give you access to perhaps young people. I'd love to be a role model of some of these folks that desperately need it. If I'm not elected, hey, the Lord has other plans for me, and that's okay too. And I'm going to continue to represent clients and, be Chris I've always been.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody? Maybe tell them when is the election?
So the election was the Republican primary is May 24th. There's 3 of us running in that primary, no one on the Democratic side. So May 24th is going to be the deciding day. Well,
Chris, really appreciate you sharing your time with us and all the information. Wish you luck in this election. And again, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey everybody, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned to everything here on Homegrown and find out everything there is to do with Dothan and living in the Wiregrass area. Until next time, y'all, have a good one.